Welcome everyone to Discourse. Today we're going to be discussing A Becharmed Callie Christmas, a story of the Civil War by J.D.R. Hawkins. Christmas comes but once a year, but will it be different this Christmas? Callie Mae Copeland is the only child of affluent landowner Sullivan Copeland and his wife Faye. Because Callie has been doted on her entire life, she is pampered and outspoken. Although the Civil War is looming and is in its second year, it hasn't affected the Copelands or their neighbors in North Alabama too much yet. So the story begins in November 1862. That's the second year of the Civil War, and the story takes place in Alabama. And our main character is Callie Copeland. Mm-hmm. She is 15 years old, and she will soon be turning 16. So we are meted with her and her father, who are going to the local mercantile for some fabric for a dress that she's actually going to be making for herself.
That's the main purpose. But the father is getting, the necessary supplies for the household.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You see, I totally that even kind of went over my head a little bit, only because, so this is told in the perspective of a 15-year-old young girl, Callie. So she is so wrapped up in herself, in her life,
her looks.
planning the Christmas party that's coming up soon. More importantly, her birthday party, making her beautiful dress, making sure she looks her best, and everyone in the town, all her friends and family, they all have a really great time. So she's really, truly trying to stay as positive as possible, not just for herself and I think like her own state of mind and her well-being, but also to hopefully give that impression to everyone else so that they also feel like that the war isn't intruding on their beautiful life and to enjoy life.
Yeah, she's trying to pass out like good vibes and
right, for sure,
good feelings, while at the same time she likes all the eyes giving her attention. Yeah. Giving her compliments of her dress.
She's 15, okay? She's 15. She's wealthy, wealthier than the people surrounding her, right? Mm. And, she's beautiful. And I feel like in 1862, those were the things that mattered, right? So, I mean, for her, at least she wasn't flawed, right? She wasn't mean. She never did anything to hurt anybody's feelings. She was very kind.
And she did like to share. They shared food. Yes. They shared a lot of stuff.
And it was important to her to find the perfect gifts for people that she cared about for Christmas. Like she would hand make stuff and, she truly cared about other people. So her being obsessed with her looks... Yeah. I don't feel like it wasn't a malicious or like I'm better than everybody else sort of thing. It was just more of she prided herself and her status and her look, and hopefully that is how she can contribute to making everyone feel good and happy and joyous in a time where it's very not.
And she knew of people that went to war, like friends, like as you mentioned, friends and family, but luckily, as she said, none of it was her direct line.
Like, so it never really hit home for her. Yeah. So she knew it was happening. She wasn't totally unaware. Like, there was even a magazine that had stories and actual pictures, like visuals of what was going on in the war. And it not frightened her, but it definitely left an imprint on her because she said it wasn't as glamorous as they made it out to be, the war.
Because the people that aren't directly involved in the war are being attacked like daily. They see it as glamorous, like our boys are going out to fight for glory, they're gonna win. When she saw the pictures, she imagined like battles happening in her front door, and it sent like shivers down her spine.
Right.
And she had to quickly like shut that out. She found the cloth she was looking for, and she got happy again. Let's make this party. And even her dad, he seemed like a really cool dude. She was like an only child, so she was very spoiled. He gave her a lot of whatever he could give, he gave her. And he even had like a tab,
a tab at the mercantile.
Yeah. because money wasn't worth as much anymore.
Right.
Because the war and the limited supplies. It sucks because every time they went back, it seemed like the prices were always different, like up.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, what a dad. I mean, that's a great dad to me.
It was like an interesting dynamic with the adults and Callie and her friends and cousins. Because when the adults got together, they would talk about the war, like what's going on, how's the neighbor. And then the kids were there. They were aware, they were listening, but they were more interested in, man, I wish we go back to our studies and we want to hang out and let's go hang out with our friends before they move to St. Louis.
But that's what I found the most interesting about this story is only because it was told through a teenager's point of view, right? Her perspective. And I feel like those were the things that were important to people her age. I mean, at any time. Like, all they care about is how they look, their friends, what they're doing, what they don't get to do, Yeah,
and boys for Callie. She's like talking about boys.
Girls, So it made it, to me, I was kind of like, oh, this is super interesting because we're not just getting this really dramatic doom and gloom perspective of the adults, right? We hear it just like she does.
Small parts.
Yeah, we're aware that it's happening and going on. But we're also just pulled into her optimistic world.
Short book, but it was interesting how everything was put together.
Yeah, I love that there was like excerpts from, I want to say, real soldiers or people during that time. So I thought that was kind of cool. It kind of helped us link together like what was actually happening at that time through this story. I felt like it made me a whole lot more interested to know how life was during the Civil War. Like, it was so interesting. Even the way they talked, how they dressed, and just, everything. It was just really interesting. And I feel like it would be interesting to see, like, the daily lives of these people.
Yeah, like, wars happening with your, literally, family, like Civil War.
Right.
Cousins,
right,
old
exactly,
neighbors.
Yeah.
And you have to continue with life. You're involved in it one way or another, but you have to still keep looking forward. Like Callie, you can't be sad, you can't be thinking about that. What did
she say? I have a quote, actually. Mm-hmm. Life is sweet, she thought to herself, and a true gift from God. Redirecting her thoughts to her dress, she smiled to herself. Life is full of joy, and I will make my 2 boys feel joyful when they see me in my new gown. This is when she kind of, a lot of the war stuff was kind of becoming more apparent in her mind, and she's just like, you know what? I'm just not going to let that affect my life.
Yeah.
And hopefully it won't affect others around me.
Yeah, because she was hoping when they saw her happy and smiling that they would also smile and forget things, at least for the moment.
But that's so, like,
right.
Yeah, you kind of say, like, kind of self-absorbed, but I feel like she was just more of, like, this is what I can offer, right? Like, she can't go to war. She couldn't enlist and help in that way. So maybe in her mind, her thought was, maybe I can help by, putting a smile on someone's face.
Helping them forget, giving them a nice meal, like that cozy family feeling.
Right. I thought that was sweet.
Like
I thought it was
Christmas.
genuine. Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't seem like it at first to me, but it was. And even other people were like, oh, she's always so happy.
And kind and thoughtful. And I mean, you can tell she had a really good relationship. Reputation with everyone. Everyone loved her. They thought she was just amazing, an amazing human being.
The whole county did.
Apparently. I know, the whole county did.
All eyes were on her, her dresses.
And I love that she made her own dress. Like, 15 years old. Like, hello, they should be teaching me that in school. Like, all the kids now should be learning how to make their own clothes. I don't get it. It's amazing.
Then she helped her mom cook and do all these other things. Like, what the?
I know. So
she's very independent. 15.
Totally capable.
Yeah. She even rode a horse down to visit. I believe it was her friend. But along the way, she met a Yankee. She was like, "Are you a Yankee?" Because he looked so scruffled and he talked different.
Right, yeah.
That was like the only point in the story where I was like, oh no, things are going to go down. It's not going to be so happy now.
I know. I was like, oh no, is this book going to take like a really...
Like a dark turn?
It is definitely during the Civil War, which is horrible, right? But I thought that this was going to really take another type of dark turn. And thankfully it didn't.
Yeah, someone's got like robbed or attacked. Or something. Something was going to happen.
Something not pleasant. To our sweet little Callie. Our sweet little Callie. Make sure to check out Becharmed Callie Christmas, a story of the Civil War.